The object appeared without warning. Captain Tom Reed was completing his routine systems check aboard the International Space Station when the alert came through. At first, he thought it was a software glitch. The readings made no sense. The object had simply materialized near Jupiter's orbit, defying all known laws of physics. "Houston, are you seeing this?" Tom asked, his eyes fixed on the monitor. "We're seeing it, ISS stand by for instructions." Within hours, every major observatory on Earth had trained their instruments on the anomaly. It wasn't a natural phenomenon. That much became clear when the object changed course, accelerating toward the inner solar system at impossible speeds. Dr. Anna Miller, head of NASA's Extraterrestrial Intelligence Division, hadn't slept in 48 hours. Her office walls were covered with printouts of data streams and spectral analyses. The president had already called 3 times. "It's definitely artificial," she explained to the hastily assembled panel of world leaders on the video conference. "The energy signature doesn't match anything in our databases, and the movement patterns indicate intelligent control." Defense agencies worldwide went on high alert. Fighter jets scrambled, missile systems activated, and submarines moved into strategic positions, although everyone understood how futile these preparations might be against something that could cross interstellar space. 5 days after its initial detection, the object settled into Earth orbit. It was massive, roughly the size of Manhattan, with a sleek, metallic surface that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Panic spread through major cities as the vessel became visible to the naked eye, a dark shape blotting out the stars. On the 7th day, they spoke. Every electronic device on Earth, phones, computers, televisions, radios, simultaneously broadcast the same message in all known human languages. "Attention inhabitants of planetary designation E3. You have been selected by the Horizon Collective for assessment and cleansing. Resistance is inadvisable. Further instructions will follow." The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session as riots broke out in cities across the globe. Religious leaders called for calm while military commanders prepared for the worst. Stock markets crashed, and people hoarded supplies. "What do they mean by cleansing?" asked the British Prime Minister, her voice tight with strain. Nobody had an answer. 3 days later, smaller vessels detached from the mothership. They descended toward Earth's major capitals: Washington, Beijing, Moscow, London, New Delhi. Each one carried representatives of the Horizon Collective. The aliens were humanoid but clearly not human. They stood 7 feet tall with iridescent skin that shifted colors like oil on water. Their 4 eyes, arranged in a diamond pattern, contained no pupils, just swirling nebulae of deep purple. They moved with unnatural grace, as if gravity affected them differently. In the White House Rose Garden, the alien delegate addressed a group of trembling world leaders. "Your species has been monitored for some time," it said, its voice oddly melodic despite the ominous words. "The Horizon Collective has determined that humans represent a Category 5 potential threat to galactic stability. Your evolutionary path and technological progression indicate destructive tendencies that cannot be permitted to spread beyond this solar system." President Garcia found her voice. "We've never threatened anyone beyond Earth. We've barely reached our own moon." The alien skin rippled with what might have been amusement. "It is not what you have done, but what you will do. The pattern is clear to those who can read it. You are a species born of conflict, thriving on competition rather than harmony. Such species inevitably bring chaos once they achieve interstellar capabilities." From orbit, the mothership released a smaller device that positioned itself between Earth and the Moon. It unfolded like a mechanical flower, revealing a pulsing core of energy unlike anything human instruments could identify. "This is the Void Hammer," the alien continued. "It has cleansed 17 worlds before yours. You have 30 of your days to prepare." As the delegates returned to their ship, humanity faced an impossible deadline. But even as fear spread, something else began to stir, the stubborn, relentless determination that had carried humans from caves to skyscrapers, from stone tools to quantum computers. They had no idea what they had just awakened. The global response was swift and unprecedented. For the first time in human history, all nations united under a single purpose: survival. 3 days after the initial contact, the Horizon Collective's main representative, who called itself Observer, requested a formal meeting with Earth's assembled leadership at the United Nations headquarters in New York. The alien stood before the General Assembly, its skin shifting between deep blues and purples as it spoke. "Your species has been granted a mercy not often extended," Observer announced, its voice echoing through the silent chamber. "The collective recognizes that not all humans share the dangerous potential we have identified." The massive screens behind Observer lit up with images of Earth's wars, environmental destruction, and weapons tests. "Your history reveals your nature," it continued. "However, we will allow 10% of your population to be relocated to a controlled habitat world. Those demonstrating peaceful tendencies will be preserved." Murmurs of shock rippled through the assembly. "The remaining 90% will be eliminated when the Void Hammer activates in 27 days. This is non-negotiable." General Marcus Davis of the United States Joint Chiefs leaned forward. "And if we refuse?" Observer's skin flickered to a deep crimson. "Then all will perish. The hammer cannot be stopped by your technology. It has cleansed worlds far more advanced than yours." To demonstrate their power, the aliens allowed a limited inspection of one of their smaller vessels. The military and scientific delegates returned ashen-faced. "Their technology is beyond comprehension," Dr. Miller reported to the Emergency Council. "The ship's hull alone contains elements we've never seen on the periodic table. Their weapon systems operate on principles that defy our understanding of physics." Hours later, a desperate military strike was launched against the Void Hammer. Fighter jets, missiles, and even experimental energy weapons, all bounced harmlessly off an invisible shield surrounding the alien device. The aliens didn't retaliate. They didn't need to. "Your attempt was expected," Observer informed world leaders afterward. "It changes nothing. Select your 10% and prepare them for evacuation." Behind closed doors, a different plan was forming. In an underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Project Aurora took shape. The initiative brought together the brightest minds from every field: physicists, engineers, hackers, soldiers, even game designers and science fiction writers. Dr. Jack Wilson, a quantum physicist who had been working on theoretical wormhole technology, led the scientific team. "We need to stop thinking like humans fighting aliens," he told the assembled group. "We need to think like humans fighting for survival, which is what we've been doing since we climbed down from trees." Meanwhile, nations secretly shared their most classified technologies. Russian quantum computers worked alongside American AI systems. Chinese drone swarms were integrated with Indian satellite networks. Brazilian bioengineers collaborated with Japanese robotics experts. The first breakthrough came from an unexpected source, a 19-year-old college student named Mike Brown whose hobby was building electromagnetically shielded gaming computers. "Their communication signals show a pattern," he explained, pointing to the data streams his homemade equipment had captured. "There's a microsecond vulnerability when they transmit between their ships. It's tiny, but it's there." Dr. Wilson's team expanded on this discovery, developing a potential way to penetrate the alien shields, at least momentarily. "It won't be enough to destroy them," General Davis warned during a strategy session. "But it might give us a window to do something else." That something else took shape as Operation Trojan, a daring plan to infiltrate the alien command ship and disable the Void Hammer from within. Volunteers flooded in from military special forces worldwide. The final team included 12 operatives, each selected not just for combat skills but for problem-solving abilities and psychological resilience. While the world's governments publicly began the grim process of selecting the 10% for evacuation, manufacturers secretly repurposed factories to build components for the counterattack. 17 days before the deadline, Observer requested another meeting. "Your compliance is noted," it said, skin now a calm blue. "However, our scans detect unusual activity in several locations. Remember that resistance is futile. The Horizon Collective has never failed to cleanse a targeted world." What Observer didn't understand was that humans had never failed to surprise those who underestimated them. The countdown continued. Impossible isn't a fact. It's an opinion. These words, spoken by Dr. Wilson, became the unofficial motto of Project Aurora as they raced against the doomsday clock. 15 days remained before the Void Hammer would activate. In the sprawling underground complex, thousands of engineers and scientists worked around the clock. Sleep-deprived but driven by desperate determination, they tackled problems that would have taken decades under normal circumstances. The key breakthrough came from Dr. Lisa Parker, a materials scientist who had been studying the fragments of alien technology collected from brief encounters. Their shield technology operates on quantum entanglement principles, she explained to the project leaders, pointing to her simulations. "It's incredibly advanced, but it has one critical weakness: it's perfectly predictable." She tapped her screen, highlighting energy patterns. "Their systems are so optimized that they follow exact mathematical sequences. They've eliminated randomness completely." General Davis frowned. "And that's a weakness?" "For them, yes," Dr. Parker smiled. "Because humans excel at chaos." The plan that emerged was brilliantly simple yet complex in execution. Standard weapons wouldn't work against the aliens' defenses, but a system designed to introduce targeted quantum chaos might disrupt their shields just long enough for a strike team to board the command ship. Meanwhile, a global civilian network took shape. Using encrypted channels, Project Aurora created Hive Mind, a platform allowing ordinary people to contribute ideas. The aliens monitored official military and research channels, but they overlooked the power of millions of connected human minds working through gaming networks and social media platforms. A retired electrician from Brazil suggested using modified power grid components to amplify the quantum disruptors. A teenage hacker from South Korea identified patterns in the alien communication systems. A shipyard worker from Norway proposed retrofitting deep-sea drilling equipment to create penetrator devices. Project Aurora became humanity's greatest collaboration. 10 days before the deadline, the first test of the shield disruptor succeeded. For 3.7 seconds, they created a localized breach in the alien shield technology. It wasn't much time, but it was something no other species had accomplished against the Horizon Collective. "We'll need to get closer," said Commander Sam West, leader of the infiltration team. "Standard approach won't work. We need something they won't expect." The solution came from an unlikely source: ancient history. Dr. Ronnie Mehta, an archaeologist specializing in ancient warfare, proposed an approach inspired by the Trojan horse. "The aliens are allowing evacuation ships to approach their fleet for inspection," she explained. "What if we hide our team inside what appears to be civilian evacuation vessels?" The infiltration craft took shape in hidden facilities worldwide, ordinary transport ships modified with concealed compartments and stealth technology derived from a combination of experimental military projects and civilian noise cancellation research. While engineers prepared the hardware, Commander West's team underwent intensive training. The 12 operators, drawn from special forces units across 8 countries, learned to use the hybrid weapons and equipment designed specifically for the mission. "These aren't like anything you've trained with before," the weapons designer explained as the team examined their gear. "The primary infiltration tool is this quantum disruptor. It creates a localized field of randomness that their systems can't adjust to quickly enough." The handheld device looked cobbled together, because it was. Parts from microwave ovens, medical MRI machines, and video game consoles had been repurposed alongside military-grade components. 7 days before the deadline, Observer requested another inspection of the evacuation preparations. "Your compliance is proceeding adequately," it noted, its skin a satisfied amber hue. "The selection process appears fair by your standards. The collective approves." What Observer didn't see were the hidden factories, the repurposed satellites, or the millions of people secretly preparing for resistance rather than surrender. For days before the deadline, Project Aurora was ready. The plan had 3 phases: distraction, infiltration, and disruption. Success would require precise timing and more than a little luck. "This is humanity's moment," President Garcia told the assembled operation leaders during the final briefing. "Throughout our history, we've faced extinction many times, from nature, from each other, from our own mistakes. But we've always adapted. We've always survived." She looked at the tired but determined faces before her. The Horizon Collective chose the wrong species to underestimate. The countdown entered its final phase. The eve of humanity's deadline dawned with eerie calm. Across the globe, civilians huddled in homes and shelters while news broadcasts showed the official evacuation ships preparing for departure. Observer's skin glowed a satisfied gold as it monitored the proceedings from the Horizon Collective's command vessel. "The acceptance phase is typical," it communicated to the collective. "Species E3 has recognized the inevitability of cleansing and is now focused on preserving their selected specimens." What Observer failed to notice was the strange pattern of satellite repositioning occurring on Earth's dark side, or the unusual atmospheric disturbances creating momentary blind spots in their scanning technology. Operation Trojan began at precisely 0400 UTC. The first phase, distraction, kicked off with a coordinated electromagnetic pulse from repurposed weather satellites. The pulse was too weak to damage alien systems but strong enough to trigger their attention. As predicted, the Horizon Collective redirected scanning resources to investigate the anomaly. "Diversion successful," reported the mission controller from the Underground Command Center. Phase 2 commencing. Across Earth's major spaceports, the evacuation ships launched on schedule. Among them were 5 specially modified vessels containing Commander West's team and their equipment. From the outside, they appeared identical to the other transport ships, their heat signatures and energy profiles perfectly matching the civilian vessels. Observer personally supervised the inspection process as the evacuation fleet approached the alien perimeter. "Proceed to designated coordinates for passenger transfer," the alien directed. "Any deviation will result in immediate termination." Commander West lay perfectly still in the hidden compartment beneath the ship's floor. Beside him, Lieutenant Maya Patel monitored the quantum disruptor, waiting for the exact moment to activate it. Approaching primary checkpoint, the pilot's voice came through their earpieces. "Stand by." The evacuation ships moved in perfect formation toward the massive alien vessels. At precisely the calculated moment, as they passed between 2 alien scanner arrays, Lieutenant Patel activated the disruptor. For 3.7 seconds, a sphere of quantum chaos surrounded their ship. The alien scanners registered nothing unusual, just a momentary glitch that their systems automatically dismissed as background radiation. "We're through the first layer," West whispered. "Prepare for boarding sequence." The civilian ships continued toward the transfer point while the 5 modified vessels subtly adjusted their trajectory toward the command ship's maintenance bay. Using the sensor data collected over weeks of observation, they timed their approach to coincide with the command ship's routine shield reconfiguration. "Their technology is too perfect," Dr. Wilson had explained during mission briefing. "It's optimized to be predictable, which means it follows patterns we can exploit." When the second quantum disruption hit, the infiltration ships accelerated suddenly, breaking formation and shooting toward the momentarily vulnerable sections of the command vessel. Alarms blared across the alien fleet. Observer's skin flashed crimson with alarm. Defensive measures activated, it commanded. Eliminate the divergent vessels. Energy weapons fired from the alien ships, but they were a fraction of a second too late. The human vessels had already breached the outer hull of the command ship, crashing through into a massive docking bay. Commander West's team deployed from their ships in practiced precision, using the confusion to advance deeper into the alien vessel. Their modified weapons, a hybrid of conventional firearms and the quantum disruptors, proved surprisingly effective against the alien defenders. They've never faced adaptive warfare, West realized as they fought their way toward the central control chamber. The aliens' tactics were textbook perfect, and completely predictable. Meanwhile, Earth launched the third phase, disruption. Every functional satellite, defense system, and electronic warfare platform activated simultaneously, creating a chaotic electromagnetic storm around the planet. Millions of conflicting signals overwhelmed the aliens' communication systems. Inside the command ship, West's team reached the central chamber after fierce fighting. Lieutenant Patel hacked into the alien system using the interface techniques developed by Project Aurora's tech division. Their security is incredibly advanced, she reported, but inflexible. It can't adapt to methods it wasn't designed to counter. As West's team secured the command center, they came face to face with Observer. The alien skin shifted through patterns they hadn't seen before, perhaps indicating confusion or disbelief. This outcome was calculated as impossible, Observer stated, its voice lacking its usual certainty. The Horizon Collective has cleansed 17 worlds. None have successfully resisted. Commander West leveled his weapon at the alien. Then you've never faced humans before. We specialize in impossible. For the first time in its long existence, Observer experienced something new, doubt. The final phase of humanity's counterattack was about to begin. Commander West kept his weapon trained on Observer while Lieutenant Patel worked furiously at the alien control interface. The rest of the team secured the chamber's perimeter, repelling sporadic counterattacks from the ship's defenders. Why Earth? West demanded. Of all the planets in the galaxy, why target us? Observer's skin rippled with complex patterns, waves of deep purple and flashes of silver that seemed to indicate internal conflict. Your kind represents an unacceptable variable, the alien finally responded. The collective has maintained galactic harmony for 50,000 years by eliminating evolutionary branches that threaten stability. Lieutenant Patel glanced up from her work. We've barely left our own planet. How could we possibly threaten you? Not by what you are, Observer's 4 eyes fixed on her. By what you will become. With a gesture, Observer activated a holographic display showing Earth's technological progression over the past century, from the first powered flight to quantum computing in just a few generations. The display then projected forward, showing an acceleration curve that outpaced any species the collective had encountered. Your adaptability exceeds parameters, Observer continued. You developed in an unusually hostile evolutionary environment, constantly fighting for survival against your planet and each other. This created cognitive and social patterns the collective cannot predict or control. West understood with sudden clarity. You're afraid of us. The collective does not experience fear, Observer countered, but its skin betrayed it, flickering to a pale yellow that they hadn't seen before. We ensure order. By destroying anything different, West said. That's not order. That's stagnation. While they spoke, Lieutenant Patel had penetrated deeper into the alien systems. Commander, I've accessed their historical database. The Horizon Collective hasn't innovated in over 15,000 years. They reached a technological plateau and stopped advancing. Perfection requires no improvement, Observer stated. Perfection? Patel laughed bitterly. Your society is dying. Your birth rates have been declining for millennia. According to your own data, the collective will face extinction within 5,000 years without genetic intervention. Observer's skin darkened. Irrelevant. The current harmony will be maintained. I'm into the weapon control systems, Patel announced. But there's a problem, I can't deactivate the Void Hammer. It's already in its final countdown sequence. West felt cold dread spreading through his chest. How long? 4 hours until it reaches full power. Outside the command ship, the space battle had intensified. Earth's makeshift defense fleet, comprised of military satellites, repurposed civilian spacecraft, and hastily armed rockets, engaged the alien vessels. What they lacked in technology, they made up for in numbers and unpredictability. Back on Earth, millions of civilians operated remote drones that swarmed the alien ships, causing confusion and dividing their attention. It wasn't a fair fight by any technological measure, but humans had long ago learned to overcome superior forces through asymmetric tactics. In the command center, Patel made a discovery that changed everything. The Void Hammer works by creating a quantum singularity, she explained rapidly. It's designed to implode a planet's core. But if we reverse the containment protocols and redirect the energy flow. Her fingers flew across the alien interface. What happens? West demanded. It creates a backflow. The energy has to go somewhere. Observer's skin turned ash-gray. You cannot. The resulting cascade will destroy this vessel and all nearby ships. Including the Void Hammer itself, Patel confirmed. West made the decision instantly. Do it. Team, prepare for emergency evacuation. As Patel implemented the sabotage sequence, West transmitted the plan to Earth Command. Their infiltration ships were too damaged for escape, but the battle outside had created an opportunity. Several Earth vessels had broken through the perimeter and were approaching the command ship. Observer watched with what appeared to be fascination. Your species chooses self-sacrifice without hesitation. This trait was noted but not fully understood. That's because you've forgotten what it means to fight for something that matters, West replied. The Void Hammer's energy signature began to fluctuate wildly as Patel's modifications took effect. Alarms blared throughout the ship. We have 20 minutes before the cascade reaction begins, she announced. As the team prepared for their desperate evacuation attempt, Observer made an unexpected move. It accessed a secure channel and transmitted a message to the collective fleet. The humans have demonstrated Category 7 adaptability, the alien communicated. Tactical reassessment required. Withdraw to safe distance. West stared in disbelief as the alien ships began retreating from Earth orbit. Why? He asked. Observer's skin settled into a calm blue. The collective preserves order, but it also preserves knowledge. Your species represents something unique. That deserves study, not extinction. As the command ship began to shudder from the building energy cascade, Earth vessels docked to extract West's team. The Void Hammer glowed with increasing intensity, its perfect engineering becoming its ultimate vulnerability. Humanity had faced its greatest threat, and transformed it into its greatest opportunity. The explosion lit up Earth's orbit like a second sun. For 3 days, the fragments of the Void Hammer and the Horizon Collective's command ship created spectacular light shows in the night sky, a glittering reminder of how close humanity had come to extinction. Commander West and his team returned to a hero's welcome. Despite injuries sustained during their escape, all 12 members of the infiltration force had survived. The same couldn't be said for many of the brave pilots and crew who had engaged the alien fleet directly, buying time for Operation Trojan to succeed. Memorial services were held in every nation, honoring those who had sacrificed everything to save the planet. For the first time in human history, the world mourned together as one people. 1 week after the battle, the remaining ships of the Horizon Collective retreated to the edge of the solar system. They maintained position there, observing but not approaching. They're reassessing, Dr. Wilson explained during the United Nations emergency session. According to the data Lieutenant Patel retrieved from their systems, were the first species to ever survive their cleansing protocol. President Garcia addressed the assembled leaders. The question is, what happens next? They still possess technology far beyond our capabilities. The answer came 3 weeks later. A single alien vessel, smaller than the previous ships, approached Earth under a flag of truce. Observer requested permission to land and meet with human representatives. At a neutral site in Antarctica, Observer stood before a council representing all of Earth's nations. Its skin now displayed patterns never seen during the conflict, gentle waves of blue and green with occasional flashes of white. The collective has existed for 50 millennia, Observer began. In that time, we have encountered over 300 intelligent species. None have demonstrated your particular combination of traits. You mean none have kicked your ass before, General Davis muttered, earning a sharp look from President Garcia. Your crude assessment is not inaccurate, Observer replied, to everyone's surprise. The collective's purpose has always been to maintain galactic stability by eliminating unpredictable variables. However, our recent encounter has revealed a significant oversight in our methodology. Observer activated a holographic display showing various alien civilizations. These species all followed predictable development patterns. Once they reached space, their social and technological progress became linear and foreseeable. The hologram shifted to show Earth's history, a chaotic series of advancements, setbacks, conflicts, and breakthroughs. Humans developed differently. Your harsh evolutionary environment created intense selective pressure that favored adaptability above all else. You don't advance linearly, you advance through crisis and response. Dr. Wilson leaned forward. And that threatened your predictive models. Correct. The collective cannot calculate humanity's developmental trajectory. This was deemed an unacceptable risk. Observer's skin rippled. This assessment has been revised. Meaning what, exactly? President Garcia asked. The collective proposes a new relationship. We will share certain technologies with Earth in exchange for cultural exchange and the establishment of communication protocols. The offer stunned the human delegation. After lengthy debate and careful negotiation, Earth agreed to limited technological exchange while maintaining strong defensive posture. The first alien embassy was established in neutral territory in New Zealand. Within a year, humanity had begun to incorporate aspects of alien technology into everyday life. Medical breakthroughs eliminated several major diseases. Energy production became cleaner and more efficient. The first human ship equipped with modified alien propulsion systems reached Mars in days rather than months. But perhaps more significant was the transformation of human society itself. The near-extinction experience had shattered old divisions. Nations maintained their identities but cooperated in ways previously thought impossible. The United Earth Defense Force formed from the international coalition that had fought off the invasion. 5 years after the Horizon Collective's attack, humanity launched its first interstellar communication array, a vast network of satellites designed to detect and contact other civilizations. We're not waiting for them to find us anymore, Dr. Parker explained at the dedication ceremony. We're announcing our presence to the galaxy, on our terms. Observer, who had remained on Earth as the collective's ambassador, attended the ceremony. Its skin displayed a pattern that human xenologists had learned to recognize as respect. Your species continues to surprise us, it commented to Commander West, now Admiral of the Earth Defense Fleet. Most civilizations would retreat and fortify after such an encounter. You choose to expand instead. West smiled. That's the difference your people never understood. Challenges don't make us retreat, they make us stronger. As Earth's first message beamed out toward the stars, it carried a simple introduction: we are humanity. We come seeking friendship, but we will not be cleansed. Remember who we are. The galaxy would indeed remember. The age of human expansion had just begun.